You are about to go to bed, but there on the wall, by your pillow, behind your bed, is a chipkali. A. Are you frozen with fear? B. Does your heart skip a beat? C. Do you get the fright of your life? D. Does a debilitating fear creep into your heart? Or E. None of the above. Well, it depends, doesn't it, on if you are scared of chipkalia or not. And if you are scared, on how scared of them you are. We're back with another 22 ways of talking about fear in English. In our first video, I described 36 ways that we can use fear language in English. If you haven't seen that video, go right here and then come back and watch these next 22. Hi, I'm Simon from Gateway English Teaching. We are here to help you grow in your English speaking to the level that you want. If you're new here, please like and subscribe, hit that bell, and let's get going. Fear is both a very physical experience as well as a very emotional experience. Our whole body is involved in our fear. And so English has developed a whole lot of different idioms, phrasal verbs, and word pairs that kind of capture both the emotional and the physical experience of fear. We looked at 7 of these at the end of this video. Today we're going to look at another 22. From these 22, choose 2 or maybe 3 new ones that you like the sound of. Practice using them. Write some examples in the comments below and we can interact on them. And then when you've mastered them, come back and get some more. But first, let's look at the different options we have for talking about fear using the emotional language of English. If we want to talk about a sudden, momentary sort of fear, a fear that comes and then goes away quickly, we could use some of these options. I freaked out when I saw the coronavirus tally in my home city. Or, you just scared me witless. Or, don't do that again. You scared the life out of me. Now, with this last one, we can replace the word life with different things. You scared the living daylights out of me, or you scared the wits out of me, or there's actually a whole lot of different words that people put in there, rough, impolite, or even rude words, and I'll let you listen out for them in another place. But our wits, that might not be a word you're familiar with. Wits is like our practical intelligence, like our ability to think clearly but practically about something. So when you're scared witless, you're basically saying, I can't think anymore. But using emotional language to describe a deeper or longer lasting fear, we can speak like this. Let's say a victim of a crime needs to return to the crime scene, which is her house. We could say, she was scared to death at the thought of going back into her home. Or for families where COVID-19 has infected multiple members, we could say or we could write, a debilitating fear crept into her heart as the virus began to spread to more and more of her family members. It's a fear that goes really deep and affects her ability to cope with other aspects of her life. Or for someone living under threat of danger or harm, we could say this. The boy lived in fear of his older brother returning. This is a really long-term fear. It's a fear that affects everything else in his life. Living in fear. So these are ways that we can describe fear using the emotional language of English. But there are even more ways, more idioms and phrasal verbs and word pairs that dig into the physical side of fear. Let's have a look at some. In a cricket match, the star batsman takes a bouncer to the head and needs to retire hurt. The rest of the batsmen have lost their wickets cheaply, and as only bowlers left. And as their star batsman is taken by medical staff from the field, they break out in a cold sweat, thinking about the task that is in front of them. Well, there's one way that we can talk about fear in English. It's a light sort of fear. It's a bit nervous, but to break out in a cold sweat is one way we can speak about it. Or listen to these three related idioms. This talks about much deeper fear. Let's say there's a family at the hospital and they're waiting for test results. Dada has been sick for a while and they're scared that it's cancer. As they wait for the doctor to return, their hearts pound. And when the doctor finally returns, their hearts are in their throats, or their hearts are in their mouths as they wait for him to speak. And when finally he says the word lung cancer, their hearts skip a beat. We feel fear in our chests, don't we? And so we have all these idioms using the word heart. And here are another three, numbers 13, 14, and 15 for this lesson. If you hear a really scary story, you could describe it as a spine-chilling tale that gives you shivers up your spine. Or you could say your hair stood up on end. But maybe the most intense of all these idioms is this one. My blood ran cold. You could use this in response to listening to a scary story if that's what you like to do. But if you're in a real life situation, then this idiom is only for the really intense circumstances of incredible fear. I found this example sentence with a quick internet search. Neha is a key witness in a murder trial. She's sitting in the courtroom, and then Neha felt her blood run cold as she saw the murderer she was testifying against enter the courtroom. It's really significant, isn't it? It's a very deep fear. It's intense. And now there are just 6 left to go for this lesson today. These next 3, they are really only for written English. Once the tiger had finally left the picnic area entirely, the family was left quaking in their boots. But it was Anjali who was most deeply affected. She stood there shaking like a leaf. Quivering with fright, she couldn't even put 2 words together to explain how close the tiger had been to her inadequate hiding place before the loud noise had scared it off. And finally, there are these 3 very unusual, kind of weird sort of idioms. Don't really know where they came from, but they're used. Here they are. That movie scared the pants off me. Or, you scared the dickens out of me. Now these 2 have a similar use to the one I shared with you earlier, that you scared the life out of me. But they're a little more unusual. And here is our last one, number 22, or number 58 if you combine both our videos. A mum says to her teenage son after he has done something really stupid, It scares me silly thinking of what might have happened to you. There you go. 22 ways of speaking about fear in English. Don't miss our next video. Click that bell. See you soon. Bye for now.